Oh, bonjour. On se retrouve pour un live sur Genshin Impact aujourd'hui. Voilà, désolé pour le petit retard. Voilà. Disons que j'ai eu des petits soucis d'électricité. C'est même pas de connexion, c'est de l'électricité. Voilà, il n'y avait plus d'électricité à cause d'un accident dans le village. Voilà, on adore. Donc voilà, je suis un peu en retard parce que du coup, on a dû courir au magasin parce qu'on pouvait plus manger. Voilà, on adore. Donc si jamais, parce que là c'est revenu, mais ça vient de revenir. Donc si jamais le live se coupe sans raison, c'est qu'il y a sûrement une autre coupure encore. Voilà. Hop, donc là je me dépêche si je veux finir à l'heure. Et finir la quête de Dehya à l'heure quoi.
I see everything. Right here. Emerge.
Escape.
Hop. Bon du coup la prochaine zone sort samedi. Samedi, mercredi prochain, donc il y a la mage, du coup il y a la nouvelle zone qui sortira. Donc il faut à tout prix que je termine ça cette semaine. Mais quand? J'en sais rien. Voilà. Donc franchement ça je sais pas du tout quand est-ce que je vais le finir. Donc je sais pas. On verra bien s'il y a une quête pour la nouvelle zone. Si pour la nouvelle zone il y a une quête pour débloquer la zone tout ça, bah je la ferai sûrement. Oula. Ou alors j'avancerai sur cette zone là de mon côté, c'est pas en live, mais je filmerai pour le mettre sur YouTube, voilà, peut-être. Et en tout cas, je crois que je suis bientôt à la fin, donc on verra. Bon, moi je discute, mais en tout cas, je dois avancer. Mes résines, elles sont pas encore réinitialisées.
Add as. Thank you for Add as.
Juste regarder. Je sais que ça. Pourquoi Ah, d'accord, je suis une aventure 10 avec Naïda. Niveau d'affinité, pardon. Aventure, qu'est-ce que je raconte moi? J'envoie le time de Naïda. Oh, il est stylé. Oui, il pique un peu les yeux, mais il est stylé, je trouve. On a ça à faire. Ouais, bon, ça je le verrai. On a ça à faire, bah ça je peux le faire vite fait. Ça prend vraiment 2 secondes. Cuisiner, forger, terminer les requêtes. Ok, bah on va aller voir le forgeron. On va les cuisiner aussi. J'ai tellement de recettes que j'ai jamais fait. Est-ce que là c'est bon ou pas? Ah, je suis en train de brûler. Non, toujours pas. Ok, là c'est bon. On va faire ça vite fait. Ça va c'est très rapide. Ok, c'est parti. Ça faut le faire 3 fois par jour et donner trois nourritures. Et donner 3 plats à des gens dans la théière. Et voilà. C'est pas trop. Ça fait toujours des primogèmes en plus. Oh, j'en suis à combien de primogèmes moi? 15 000, ah oui c'est vrai. Je sais pas, j'ai eu un boost de primogèmes d'un coup. J'ai pas compris ce qui s'est passé. J'en ai gagné plein d'un coup des primogèmes. Alors j'ai pas fait d'exploration, rien du tout, j'ai continué à jouer comme d'habitude. Et j'ai eu un boost de primogèmes, j'ai pas compris. Ah oui, je suis en train de redécorer mes théières. Voilà. J'ai pas terminé.
This realm is...
Toujours t'habille. Ouais.
If you ever...
Là.
Hello. Good timing. Oh.
Nous
Hello.
allons donner
Good
2
timing.
et un cookie.
Oh.
What are you up to? For... Did you make...
Voilà. Et ben on peut commencer la quête de Dehya. Ah, j'ai aussi la quête de Farouzan à faire. J'avais oublié. Oh là, il y a trop de trucs à faire. J'avais aussi oublié l'escapade de Farouzan. Bah ça, on sera obligé de le faire dans la prochaine live. Bon, ça va, il y a les vacances qui arrivent, je pourrais rattraper mon retard pendant les vacances. Donc voilà. Donc c'est pas très grave en vrai. Parce que ouais, j'ai pris du retard et là c'est horrible. Parce que j'ai l'escapade de Farouzan à faire. Ce qui est de Dehya, on va la faire aujourd'hui. Donc escapade de Farouzan. Il y aura une nouvelle escapade, 2 nouvelles quêtes de perso. Il y a la quête de cette zone que je dois finir. Il y aura une nouvelle zone et peut-être une nouvelle quête avec cette nouvelle zone. Ah, trop de trucs à faire. Allez, c'est parti. Quête de Dehya. Ombre sur soie rouge. Rendez-vous au Grand Bazar.
I was trying to remember. What else did we put on our shopping list? Oh, what a mouth-watering smell. We can still add it to the list.
Well, if it isn't the Traveler and Paimon. Wasn't expecting to see you here.
Hello there. Oh, it's been quite a while.
Huh, so you two are still hanging out together. Dehya, didn't you say last time that you were gonna head back?
I said I was going to resign from being her bodyguard, not that our friendship was over. We're still the best of friends. The Holmayanis also still post jobs from time to time. Their pay is always generous, so me and the other...
I told Dehya to just stay at our place when she took one of those jobs a few days ago. My parents were delighted. They even said that it always felt like we were missing someone whenever Dehya wasn't around.
That sounds like something they would say, all right. They're always so welcoming. Anyway, the job is already taken care of, so I was gonna head back to the brigade as soon as I finished a little shopping. But the master kept insisting, and I ended up staying for another...
You can stay for as many days as you want, Dehya. Father hasn't even gotten around to treating you to his best dishes yet.
You know I'm not the kind of person to stay put in one place like that, my lady.
What? She said they'll treat you to the best dishes!
But wait. Didn't you say last time that you would take me on a trip to the desert? There are so many places I still haven't visited yet.
I'm sorry, my lady, but no can do. There's still a few things I need to take care of back at the brigade. Besides, the desert hasn't exactly been the most...
Oh, come on. Not this again. That's also what you said last time and the time before that.
I know, I'm sorry. Just give me some more time, and I promise I'll...
All right, fine. To be perfectly honest, it's not that I wanted to go, it's more like ever since you first set foot on the estate a few days ago, you've been acting anxious. And have you been delaying our trip because you've run into some kind of trouble?
Quel est ton problème, Dehya? Dis-nous tout.
Nah, are you kidding? You're worrying too much.
Would you swear on that? Friends shouldn't lie to each other, you know. I wouldn't pry any further if you're willing to swear. But if something really is bothering you, then just tell me. You...
Oh, looks like Junior's was onto something.
You're too perceptive, my lady. Seems I can't hide anything from you. I just thought that nothing good could come out of telling you about the messy happenings of mercenaries. Knowing too much only leads to more trouble. Mercenary life is a dog-eat-dog world where Mora reigns supreme. Everything operates on a completely different set of rules.
That doesn't change anything about what I just said, though. We're still friends, and I can only support you if I understand what's bothering you.
My lady... You're not gonna stop until you drag it out of me, are ya? Alright, I'll share what I know. Let's go somewhere else first. This isn't exactly... Okay, let's talk here. Just try not to draw any extra attention. As you may already know, the Eremites have both a lot of mercenaries and a complex organizational structure. Many mercs are no different than me. My brigade is called the Blazing Beasts. We're not a large group, but every member is loyal. However, not all Eremite brigades are like mine. Some are willing to cross all kinds of lines for the sake of Mora. The most notorious is a faction known as Deshret's Relics.
Deshret's Relics? Judging from the name, they must really look up to...
Yep, you got it. I've heard that you've already crossed paths with Ain al-Akmar. They're one of the groups under the Relic's banner.
Oh, you mean the group that tried to sell us the Divine Knowledge Capsule? Yeah, they weren't friendly at all.
Deshret's Relics is composed of many smaller brigades like Ain al-Ahmar. The Relic's headquarters issues order. On any other day, I would want nothing to do with them. Unfortunately, though, the brigade that's stirring up trouble now is not.
Dakan?
I think it means beard or something. Believe me, it's a really stupid name. I found it insufferable for years. Anyway, the real issue is that Dakan al-Akmar is led by my father, Kusela.
Ah,
Say what now?
I think I'm starting to understand your anxiety now. But what did they do?
I won't go into details, my lady, but they've been involved in a lot of violent incidents. We're talking hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yep. The scenes tend to be quite gruesome, too. They strip the victims of all their valuables before murdering them. Not only have they targeted merchant caravans and ordinary citizens, but other mercenary brigades as well.
That's beyond terrible. They won't even spare their own kind.
I don't know how Deshret's Relic sees it. All I do know is that Dakan al-Akmar has become more and more aggressive over the last. If I don't do something about them, then even my brigade or the people of Aru village could become their next target. I just wish I knew what's driven him to do this.
Yeah. How can your father do such terrible things?
I don't know. People change. He's always been pretty pathetic. But
That's setting the bar pretty low.
I mean, if he was even remotely decent, then why would I have to leave the brigade and cut all He was loud and foolish, with no real sense of purpose. Instead of doing anything useful, he spent most of his time drinking and chasing after women. Of course, the other brigade members were just like him. Their ruckus would go on night after night.
Sounds like a nightmare.
What about your mother? Did she ever step?
Unfortunately, I never knew my mother.
I'm sorry, Dehya.
It's all right, my lady. That's pretty common in mercenary circles. Didn't I mention that my father was chasing after women? He told me that he wasn't sure who my mother was. And in any case, she never came to see me. He'd say, "You'll be fine as long as you remember to stick with Dad." But even then, he left most of the parenting to the brigade. But the problem was that he had terrible taste. He only knew a few stories, and even those tended to be pretty. They were tales of desert warriors defeating dragons in the forest, or stories of mercenaries rescuing princesses from rebel armies.
Sounds like your typical fairy tales.
More or less, yeah. They were interesting maybe the first or second time around, but after about 20 he seemed to think those stories were the best things ever, though. He was so into them that he'd call the whole brigade over and make them perform the whole thing as a play. Even the toys he gave me would all be story props. I'd get helmets, shields, and toy swords. It was only much later when I realized that the shows were more for him than they ever were for me.
What an interesting guy.
Yeah, I've always found him pretty childish. That was something I could just shrug off. I had no reason to despise him. Until I grew up and learned the true face of Deshret's Relics for myself. Looting, blackmail, violence, and fraud. They not only accepted such heinous acts, no one in the brigade was any kind of hero. Instead, did they really think that as long as they didn't do any of that stuff right in front of me, I would never know?
I think I can understand your feelings. The difference between perception.
Yeah, but don't worry, my lady. It's all water under the bridge to me now. I had a huge argument with my father and left that. I'm not investigating them due to any bitter feelings I still have towards my father. I just want to protect those that are close to me. Yeah, I told the boys to gather as much information as they could. Most of the reports concern violent incidents, but there's also some talk of smuggling.
I see. But isn't this investigation incredible?
It is, but every mercenary lives life on the edge. It's a lifestyle that I enjoy.
That may be true, but it'll be impossible for those who care about you.
Well, now you get why I didn't want to share any of this with you.
What should we do? They both have valid concerns.
Huh? But there's no need for you to get caught up in this mess, too.
Well, he's super tough, so if he went into the desert with you, then Paimon bets the problem would be...
I'm inclined to agree. I'd feel a lot more at ease if you took him along to help. I'll wait for news from you in the city until then. Please, stay safe.
I'm honored that you care so much for me, my lady. All right, then let's get moving. Our first stop will be Caravan Re...
Allez, à la caravane. Sang de Lyon. Hop, c'est parti.
Hey, Dehya, you're back. Are these two friends of yours? Likewise. There's no need to be so formal with us. We're a pretty casual crew. Anyway, since we've got a newcomer, let me fill you in on what the Khan al-Akhmar's been up to lately. They've become extremely aggressive. Apparently, even their own now have become acceptable targets. They even attack other relics brigades, just the same as any other mercenary brigade.
Even the most ferocious beasts still protect their own. But it sounds like they've thrown that straight to the wind.
That's right. Once they've collected enough loot off the other mercenaries, they sell it off to a different brigade, or turn to merchants on the black market. A portion of their profits is immediately exchanged for more food and weaponry to be used in their next violent operation.
That's terrible!
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder why they're so desperate for Mora. A few days ago, Isham and I trailed them for a while, and even disguised ourselves as merchants to conduct trade with them. We were able to learn a few things from the exchange. Rather than saying they're out to plunder and hoard Mora, it'd probably be more accurate to say that they're experiencing an...
Wait, a power struggle?
You heard me right. The vast majority of their victims are mercenaries from the other brigades of Desh. If their only goal was Mora, they could have gone after anybody. The targeted nature of their attacks points to a power struggle between the different brigades within the relics. That's the only plausible explanation we have. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find out anything more specific. It seems they're also trying to keep things under wraps. Oh, one last thing we discovered was that over the past few years, as the Khan al-Akhmar became more and more active, Deshret's relics as a whole became a lot...
It sounds mighty strange to me, too. Harut, gotta say, though, I didn't expect you to go on a whole undercover mission during the few days I was gone.
Nah, it was nothing. We're just as concerned about the situation as you are.
What he said. Besides, Dehya, haven't you done more dangerous things?
Yeah. And while they went to talk with Khan al-Akhmar, I took a look at the last camp they attacked. Any survivors of the attack were already long gone. There was nothing of value left in the camp.
Ah, Hisham and Khalaf. You're here too.
We rushed over as soon as we saw you come into Caravan Rebat. Although this new friend of yours looks a little green behind the ears, I'm sensing a special vibe from him. Now that we know you'll have a capable partner with you, we can also rest easy.
Hey, what about Paimon? Feel anything special?
Oh, you're also planning to tag along with them?
Of course! Paimon is the traveler's most important guide. Wherever he goes, Paimon will follow.
Oh, in that case, then you'd better take care of her too, Dehya.
Don't underestimate Paimon!
Don't worry about her. She may look tiny and helpless, but she's been through just as many battles as the traveler here. Even if she had only survived on sheer luck, then that alone would still make her quite formidable.
I had no idea. I guess I shouldn't judge by
Ouais, c'est ça, il
appearances.
faut pas se fier aux apparences.
Oh, one other thing, Dehya. When you're free, why don't you update the deputy about your upcoming schedule? We held another recruitment event a few days ago, but everyone only came to see the Flame Main. You weren't around at the time, so people were pretty disappointed to only find our crew of rough, unkempt guys. The deputy put a lot of effort into the event, but it was basically for nothing. Only a few people chose to stay, and that really got to him.
Sorry to hear that. I'll be sure to bring him some great liquor next time. I left in a hurry and I couldn't make it back in time for the...
Gotta admit, I can understand their disappointment, though. You're our brigade's main selling point, after all. Now, if only the deputy could figure out a way to bring a few more smoking hot members into our ranks.
Keep dreaming. Remember the last time I invited a couple gals into the brigade? You all, the awkward silence and weird expressions left quite the impression on them. They were originally interested in joining us, but after...
Hey, didn't we agree to never bring that up again?
Huh? Wait, are you serious? Why have I never heard about this?
I don't think you were part of the brigade yet.
Are you kidding me? I missed a once-in-a-lifetime moment like that and you weren't even...
All right. We can tell...
Hey, don't you try to change the subject. You and Hisham get your butts over here and tell me everything right.
Are they? Always.
More or less. There aren't many rules or graces when it comes to mercenaries. We're used to just speaking our minds. If someone starts getting under your skin, you just yell right back at them. And if that doesn't put an end to it, then you just challenge them to it. But we also don't tend to take many things too seriously. Being direct and getting it all out of your system as soon as things come up is better than keeping everything bottled up, never talking about. That's also why I never spare their feelings when I talk to them. If I want to laugh, I'll laugh. If I'm angry, then I'll unload on them. It's hard to stop once you get used to. Hey, knuckleheads, can you at least tell me the rest of the intel?
Yeah, you hear her, Holof? Told you we gotta focus on the investigation first. All you gotta do is wait and ambush them in the evening. They'll have no idea what hit them.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Be sure to pass my regards to...
Will do. You stay safe.
Salut Anna. Comment ça va?
This should be the place. Let's find a spot to
Bah
hide
ça
and
va,
bide our
merci.
time. It's gonna come down to a fight one way or
Là on est en
another.
train de faire la
So
quête
let's
de
all be
Dehya.
careful.
Franchement elle est pas mal. Pour l'instant elle est intéressante. Ouais, pour l'instant là on est qu'au début, mais pour l'instant ça va, elle est intéressante. On a déjà appris plein de choses, donc bon.
No need to worry.
J'espère
He
qu'elle va pas
knows
être
his
trop
way
longue
around
non
the
plus.
fight.
En tout cas, bah, en gros ça raconte euh, que Dehya, il y a son père qui fait partie d'un autre groupe de mercenaires, sauf que cet autre groupe de mercenaires, donc son père, ils font des genres d'attentats, bref, ils sèment le chaos dans Sumeru, et du coup il faut enquêter pour les arrêter.
I'm
Voilà.
not worried about that.
Et donc on en
What I
apprend un
meant
peu
is
plus
that
sur
we
sa famille, tout
probably
ça,
shouldn't
et
go too hard on
c'est
the enemy.
intéressant.
After all, we still need to get information out of them.
Sympa son père et ses potes, c'est ça.
Ah, here they come. You ready? Let's not give them a chance to react and end this quickly.
Allez, allons combattre. Ah, Dehya. On peut le jouer. Et franchement, la quête, elle a un rythme qu'on n'a pas l'habitude de voir.
Right here, right now.
Elle a un très bon rythme, je trouve, la quête. Hop. Moi, j'ai juste hâte que la nouvelle version sorte pour voir un peu Baizu, comment il sera un peu, s'il est vraiment fort ou pas, parce que j'hésite vraiment à le pull. Donc j'attends un peu de voir ce que les gens ils en pensent. Ouais, c'est bientôt, bah mercredi prochain.
Good. That saves me an introduction. All right, time for a little talk. Are you buddies with Dakana Lakmar now?
Et j'espère vraiment que la
What
deuxième
are
quête
they
de Naïda,
after?
elle sera pas chiante. Voilà, parce que la
You know
première
the code of
était
being a
chiante à
mercenary
mourir.
just like everyone else.
J'espère juste que la
The
deuxième elle sera
first rule
beaucoup
is to
mieux.
never divulge key information about our employer. What makes you think I'd
Bah,
talk?
je veux le pool parce que j'aime bien le perso, voilà, le cara design j'aime bien. En vrai, quand j'ai vu son gameplay, je me suis dit, ah ouais, pourquoi pas, il a l'air bien. En plus, c'est un soin aussi, un soin d'Endro, un soigneur. Donc je me suis dit, pourquoi pas. Mais après, j'ai peur des stats. Si les stats, elles sont pas ouf, je me dis, ouais, non, peut-être pas. Ah, salut Océane. Donc si ces stats, elles sont pas ouf, je me dis, non, on va peut-être le pool en fait. Et puis j'aimerais bien le tester aussi pour voir si son gameplay me convient vraiment. Ouais, c'est ça, on aura un boss hebdomadaire, donc on va moins dormir, ouais, c'est vrai. Mais j'espère franchement qu'elle sera intéressante cette quête, que ce sera pas encore un délire de mec qui contrôle les rêves des gens.
That might have worked on an amateur, but I know you're just looking to protect your reputation. Think about it though.
Voilà.
What's your reputation worth if you won't have the other tools you need to succeed in this line
Et
of
sinon,
work?
pour revenir à
Tools
Beizou,
like,
en fait,
I don't
Beizou, j'ai
know,
toujours
your
voulu
limbs
le
or
pool. En fait,
eyes.
quand ils l'ont annoncé, je me suis dit, bah ouais, ce serait bien, parce que j'aime bien le perso. Mais quand j'ai vu son gameplay, je me suis dit, je sais pas si je vais vraiment aimer. Ouais, un shield et healer, donc il sera toujours intéressant. Ouais, c'est ça. Donc
You've
je
got
verrai bien.
5 seconds.
Ou sinon,
You might want to
j'économise
think
pour
twice
Nomade.
about
Voilà,
how
c'est ça
much
mon
your
dilemme.
employer's
Soit je
information is
pool pour
worth
Beizou,
to
soit
you.
j'économise pour Nomade. Quand il sortira plus tard. Quand, je sais pas, mais plus tard.
I'm not joking around. We can do this the easy way or the painful way. 2 seconds.
I'll save you the trouble.
Huh? Are you crazy? He tried to
Et
bite
c'est
off his own
suicidé.
tongue. Quick, search the area for any first aid supplies.
Ah non, il s'est pas suicidé. Il s'est mordu la langue. Ok. Il est foutu. Ouf. Ouais, c'est ça. Il s'est mordu la langue. Il s'est pas suicidé, ça va. Ouais, t'es la seule à pas aimer le Beizou. En vrai, c'est vrai que il y a un peu spécial son car design, mais moi j'aime bien. Bon, c'est pas le car design que je préfère, mais moi j'aime bien en vrai. Voilà.
I definitely
Mais
didn't
sinon,
expect him to go
les
that
reruns
far.
là,
Thankfully, the wound wasn't too
on a
deep.
rerun de
He
Naïda. Bah,
just
Naïda, je
passed
l'ai
out from
déjà,
the
donc on va pas
pain.
la reprendre. Les constellations, j'ai pas envie d'en avoir. Nilou, elle m'intéresse pas trop, et puis Ganyu, elle m'intéresse pas du tout. Voilà.
Why would he be so extreme?
Donc, soit quand Beizou il sortira, je verrai bien
I
si
just
je
wanted to
l'aime
test his
bien.
mettle.
Si je l'aime bien, bah
You
je
can
le
get a
pull.
lot of mercenaries
Si
to
je l'aime
talk just
pas,
by
je garde que
threatening
j'aime
them.
pour Nomade ou un futur perso qui sortira que j'aime bien.
I didn't expect him to be willing to go through so much pain just to deny us some.
Well, he's out cold for now. We could wait for him to wake up, but maybe it's not a good idea to
Ouais, c'est
interrogate
ça,
him
pas en
immediately.
3.7, donc ouais, faut voir
What
avec
should
les
we
leaks.
do?
Ouais. Les leaks ils disent ça, mais après il peut toujours avoir
Yeah,
un
don't
changement de
worry about
programme
it.
à la dernière
It'll
minute.
be a waste of
C'est rare,
time to
mais
interrogate him
c'est
again
déjà
after
arrivé.
that. He might just hurt himself again if we start asking. There are lots of goods around here. Let's search the area. Maybe we'll be able to find something.
Oui, pour certains persos, oui. Bah, j'ai vu un peu les leaks sur Fontaine, des cara design un peu. L'Archon est stylé, je trouve. Mais après, c'est pas officiel, donc on sait pas.
I'm
Et
really
oui, je compte
sorry.
pull pour des persos à Fontaine. Donc ouais, le dilemme c'est, est-ce que je pull vraiment pour des persos de Sumeru ou est-ce que je garde pour cet été aussi pour Fontaine? Vu que Nomad il est pas prêt de ressortir apparemment. Donc est-ce que je garde pas mes primos pour Fontaine? Oui, oui, c'est ça, oui, c'est très badass. J'aime beaucoup les cara design, ils sont stylés, je trouve. Par contre, je suis très déçu là pour, je vais les appeler les jumeaux là, ceux qui sont à deux. Ouais, c'est ça, trop de dilemme. En vrai, je verrai Beizou. Si Beizou, je l'aime bien, si je trouve qu'il vaut le coup à pull, je vais le pull. Sinon, voilà. Ouais, Liné et Linette. Je suis un peu déçu parce qu'apparemment ce seront deux persos
Found a piece of paper with a bunch
à
of
part.
names on it.
Genre un 5 étoiles et
Maybe
un
it's a
4
record of
étoiles de ce que j'ai
something.
compris.
Let me take a look. If this really is a
Moi j'aurais
merchant
bien vu genre
caravan, they should have a
tu fais
record of
ton
the
ulti puis pendant son
transactions.
ulti je sais pas tu changes de perso et puis je sais pas un truc dans le genre que c'est deux persos en un on va dire.
Yep. I see an entry for Dakana Lakmar right here. Kusela, Idrisi, Bashar, and Takriti. All familiar names. Dakana Lakmar has been trading for a hefty supply of food, weapons, and medicine. It seems that in the past, they used to receive some
Ouais
killer
voilà.
knowledge as well.
Pareil pour les fatui jouables ou pas. Des fatui jouables, ça j'en ai pas vu. Des exécuteurs oui ça j'en ai vu, mais des fatui jouables j'en ai pas vu.
This caravan
Après
is
ce
just
serait bien que
one link in
Dotori
their
soit jouable.
logistics chain. Once in the rainforest, the caravan will exchange the looted goods for Mora, and the funds will then be passed to a specific person.
Ouais, exécuteur, ouais. Oui, des exécuteurs jouables, ça je pense qu'il y en aura. Bon, Signora c'est mort, elle est morte, donc c'est mort. Dotoré peut-être. Avoir un gameplay avec Dotoré, mais ça aurait pas trop de sens parce que du coup faudrait que Dotoré euh, tienne avec nous, parce que Tarta, pourquoi est-ce qu'il est jouable? Parce qu'il tient avec nous, on s'entend bien avec lui. Alors qu'avec Dotoré c'est un peu notre ennemi. Alors que Tartaglia c'était notre ennemi, mais bon, c'est amical quand même.
That person will then pack the caravan full of necessary
Donc je sais pas
goods,
trop.
which will then be brought right back to Dakana Lakmar. Wait, why is there no Mora value recorded for the final transaction?
No value?
Salut Kik officiel. Ah, ça va et toi? Et Alarcino non jouable, puis jouable le jour suivant. Ouais, ça change toujours de leak, c'est jamais les mêmes. Après, pour les fatui jouables, je pense qu'on aura beaucoup de fatui jouables quand Snezhnaya, la région de Cryo, va sortir.
Yeah,
Je pense que là, on aura
every
beaucoup de fatui
transaction
jouables.
before the last one was marked with an exact amount of Mora. But the final one, where they pay for everything to be brought back to the
Alercino, oui,
desert,
oui,
was
je
simply
vois.
marked as
Elle est
delivered.
incroyable. Alecchino, ouais, dans le genre. Mais je pense qu'ils seront plus jouables dans la région Cryo, ouais.
Perhaps. But they couldn't have known how much they would make off selling the loot. Do they not care about profit margins at all? Anyway, the next part's the records of the goods themselves. There are a lot of entries. Everything was probably sourced from the rainforest. Huh?
What's wrong?
Shazamon Homayani?
Homayani? You mean Dunyarzad's family?
Et puis pour la nouvelle zone là, qui va sortir à Sumeru dans la prochaine version, apparemment elle a un lien avec l'abîme. Donc est-ce qu'on n'aurait pas une quête de monde, peut-être pas une quête d'Archon, mais une quête de monde qui nous en fait apprendre un peu plus sur l'abîme, tout ça? Ou est-ce qu'on n'aurait pas une quête d'Archon aussi, dans une future version dans cette zone? Tu pourras m'aider quand tu auras fini. Si tu veux, oui, si quand j'aurai fini la quête de Dehya.
Could it just be another family with the same last name?
Ouais. Après, peut-être qu'on a dans la quête de monde de la zone, peut-être qu'on n'aura pas d'infos sur l'abîme, mais en vrai, je pense qu'ils peuvent faire genre un truc comme le gouffre où ils nous sortent une quête d'Archon, sauf que là, elle arrivera plus tard. En vrai, c'est possible.
I'd be surprised to find someone with the exact same first and last name. Shazamon Homayani is Dunyarzad's father, and the head of the Homayani family.
Donc il y a le père de Dunyaz Arzad qui complote avec le père de Dehya.
What the heck is going on here? I'm sorry, you're right. I'll consider what we found and not jump to conclusions just yet. But what this piece of paper confirms is that the Homayani family has been providing goods to Dakana Lakmar.
What if the Homayanis have been kept in the dark and don't know they've been trading with Dakan Akhmar?
That's a possibility, but if that was the case, why is this caravan specifically named Shazamon as their person of contact? They could have just as easily bought goods such as food and medicine directly from Caravan Rebot or Port Ormos. Yeah, funding violence and looting. The brigade gets the goods, and he is paid the proceeds from the sale of the loot.
Et après, je suis un peu déçu, on n'a pas vu d'image de fontaine dans le live de vendredi.
I honestly have no idea.
J'aurais bien aimé genre juste voir des images de la ville, par exemple, de Fontaine.
I've been to their estate many times.
Juste pour me faire une idée à quoi ça ressemble. Peut-être pas les chara design tout de suite, mais au moins des images. Même si c'est même pas des images de jeu, genre juste des croquis, j'aurais bien aimé voir.
Maybe they borrowed a lot of Mora in the past, but that's still just a speculation. I don't think the master would
Bon,
sit
j'espère
so
à la
low to make
au
Mora.
prochain live.
You're probably right. I know my lady's personality, and she wouldn't deliberately keep something like this from us.
But what should we do now? All we found is just another mystery.
Ouais, prochain live. Bah, s'ils commencent pas à nous le teaser au prochain live, je sais pas quand est-ce qu'ils vont commencer à nous le teaser, hein, parce que ça va vite arriver en vrai. Et on souffle un peu, ouais c'est ça. En vrai, je trouve que Sumeru, c'est passé tellement vite par rapport à Inazuma. C'est... Je sais pas pourquoi, mais... Après, Inazuma, il y a eu beaucoup de retard, mais Sumeru, ça a été très rapide. J'ai l'impression qu'il y a beaucoup plus de persos à Inazuma. J'ai bien aimé Sumeru, ouais, mais pas les persos. Les persos de Sumeru, en vrai, j'ai été très déçu. Il y en a beaucoup que j'aime pas. Enfin, que j'aime pas, que je suis pas fan. Alors qu'à Inazuma, j'aime pratiquement tout le monde. C'est... Sinon, l'histoire de Sumeru, elle est géniale, tout ça, mais c'est juste les persos, moi. Ouais, c'est ça, les persos de Sumeru, ils sont pas fous.
If we're lucky, we can not only figure out the mystery of this paper, but also follow the trail of breadcrumbs to the people responsible at Dakan al-Akmar.
Ouais, c'est ça. Inazuma, c'était plein de persos incroyables. J'espère qu'ils vont se rattraper avec Fontaine.
I've considered that possibility. But even still, I want to tell her what we found. I think I owe her that much. She showed genuine concern for me when we first brought up the topic. I can't repay her. That's not how I deal with people.
You're right. Paimon wants to trust Dunyarzad too.
Yeah.
Ouais, c'est ça, on a attendu
Let's pay
lourd pour
another visit
Fontaine.
to Sumeru City.
Mais déjà, l'histoire, genre les quêtes d'Archon, elles sont de mieux en mieux de région en région. Donc j'imagine la Fontaine, j'espère qu'elle sera... J'espère qu'elle sera géniale, hein, la quête d'Archon. On fait des grèves à Fontaine. Oui, bah après, connaissant Genshin, je pense que ce sera pas juste des grèves, ce sera genre des manifestations, voire une révolution. Je pense. Sinon, ça n'a pas trop d'intérêt, juste une grève. Et oui, moi je vois bien une petite révolution en fait. Le gouvernement, il y a un problème avec le gouvernement et les gens ils se révoltent. Manifester contre le 49.3. Non. Non, je pense pas qu'ils mettront une référence comme ça dans le jeu.
Actually, we are still investigating. It's just that we've discovered something
I see. The clues you found have led you back here in the city.
Something like that. Yeah.
You all look a little dispirited. Whatever you found must not have been very encouraging after all. Why don't you discuss it with me? Maybe I'll be able to say something to cheer you up.
En vrai, pour la ville de Fontaine, moi je vois une ville entourée d'une muraille un peu comme à Mondstadt, mais en beaucoup plus grand, un peu en bleu, tout ça, rempli d'eau, et avec, à la place de l'église de Mondstadt, par exemple, mettre un grand château, et c'est dans ce château qu'il y aura l'Archon, par exemple, on va dire. Ouais, je vois bien un truc dans le genre. Même si j'ai vu quelques leaks, mais c'est ce que j'imagine. Ouais, style steampunk, ouais. Ouais, bah, c'est ce que je vois. Moi, je vois bien un Mondstadt plus grand et en style steampunk, avec de l'eau.
Uh, well,
My lady, please prepare yourself for what we're going to tell you next.
The master. You mean... Okay.
Après, j'ai entendu
I
des gens dire
understand.
qu'ils voulaient
Don't
qu'on
worry
puisse
about me.
nager sous l'eau à
I'll
Fontaine,
listen
vu
as
que c'est la région
attentively as
hydro.
I can.
Moi, j'y crois pas trop. Un truc
My
très beau qui nous
father
représente bien, quoi.
has
Ouais,
been
c'est ça.
supplying
Puis je
goods
vois
to
bien un truc
Dukan
steampunk, mais quand
al-Akmar.
même avec de l'architecture bien française, genre...
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does to
ouais.
you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous... Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story, and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
I can't help but agree with the traveler.
huh? You mean you feel the same way,
Thank you for sharing all this information with me.
Ouais, nager sous l'eau, ça pourrait être bien, mais ça finirait comme la pêche. Et la pêche, elle a complètement été abandonnée. Mais bon, après, nager sous l'eau, si genre on a accès à des grottes sous l'eau, par exemple, où on a des trésors, des énigmes sous l'eau, ça pourrait être cool.
Since you've told me everything you know,
Mais
I should also
je sais
tell
pas trop.
you about
Parce que du coup,
some
si on peut
doubts
nager
that
sous l'eau
I've been
à
harboring for quite a
Fontaine,
while.
faudrait qu'on puisse nager sous l'eau dans les autres régions aussi. Sinon, ça n'aurait aucun sens. Donc ça leur
For the
demanderait beaucoup de
past,
travail en vrai.
I thought that my father
Je pense
hired
pas
a
que ce
bodyguard
soit
for me
réalisable.
so that I wouldn't run away and get lost. However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the core of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire
About that. Well, the Homayanis really needed bodyguards, so later, the Master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around to be. He offered me a pile of Mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Just think about it. Why did my father
Après, bon.
specifically reach
Ouais,
out to the
ce serait
Blazing
stylé, mais
Beasts?
bon, après, est-ce que c'est vraiment réalisable?
Maybe the core of
Je sais
30
pas.
just didn't have anyone available, or maybe someone recommended us. I've never given it too much thought.
Après, je vois, genre, pour autre que les villes, genre pour la région, le paysage, je vois bien, genre, un marais. Pourquoi, je sais pas, mais un marais.
I
Un
think I
marais
get
avec
what you're
beaucoup d'eau
saying.
partout.
You'd think none of this was a coincidence.
Parce qu'en vrai, Inazuma, c'est des îles. Sumeru, c'est la forêt, le désert, il fait toujours beau. Bah, je vois bien, genre, un marais pour la France. Ça peut... Voilà. Je vois bien ça
Precisely.
pour Fontaine, un
At
marais.
first glance, nothing seems
Je sais pas si tu vois
strange
la même
or out of
chose,
place.
mais un truc
But
assez
there are
sombre,
many parts of the story
mais
that
qui laisse passer un peu de
don't
lumière par-ci
actually make
par-là.
any sense. If my father had always been in contact with Khan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dehya into our house.
You mean the goal all along was to get Dehya to
Oui,
be
c'est
your
sûr, il y aura de l'eau, c'est
bodyguard?
Fontaine, c'est la région hydro.
No, that's too much of a stretch.
Mais après,
I
un
cut
marais,
all ties
on
with
en a
my
pas
father
hein,
a long time
dans
ago.
Genshin.
He has no control over my life anymore.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life without you knowing.
So, the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
Sorry we put all this on you so suddenly, Dunyarzad.
It's okay, Paimon.
Après Genshin,
I
ça,
should
je leur fais
actually be
confiance.
thanking you.
Ils font toujours des décors beaux, des...
Regardless of his
Bref, ils
reasons,
sont
if
très
my
forts pour ça, donc
father
je leur fais
has
confiance.
truly been funding a violent group of mercenaries, then it's my duty to bring him back to reason.
Après, à voir... on a beau imaginer des trucs, mais si c'est pas ce qu'ils ont prévu,
But is that
on peut
really
rien
the
changer,
right
quoi.
thing to do? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. You may call me an ungrateful child, but my feelings will remain the same.
Ah, c'est ça, même si c'est vide, c'est beau. Genre, mon stat, c'est vide, mais c'est quand même très joli.
However, the Homayani family has treated me with nothing but generosity. If we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire Homayani family. I would be biting the hand that's fed me over all the...
Dehya.
It's alright, Dehya. If anyone were to ask, you could always just say that I'm the one.
You don't have to do that, my lady. I'm not conflicted because I'm afraid of taking responsibility. Besides, you're the one we should all be worried about right now.
Ah, c'est ça, c'est de l'herbe, quelques arbres par-ci par-là. Ah, c'est une plaine, hein.
Hey, it's still too early to give up hope. What was the thing about friendship again? Right, yeah.
Mais ils ont réussi à faire en sorte que la plaine, elle soit pas identique partout. C'est comme le désert. Le désert, il est pas identique partout. Donc pour ça, ils sont très forts, Myoyo. Parce que franchement, le désert, j'avais peur qu'il se ressemble. Genre que toutes les régions du désert se ressemblent comme deux gouttes d'eau, mais finalement non.
In which case, my lady, could you ask the master to come out and have a chat with us?
Sure thing. I also hope he'll be able to give us a logical explanation.
Usual place? Ah, right.
Allez, allons l'attendre à l'endroit habituel. Ici.
Thank you for coming, sir. Please allow me to introduce these two. This is the traveler.
Ah, yes, my daughter has mentioned them, but we may skip all the pleasantries for now. What is the important matter you wish to discuss with me today?
Ouais, c'est vrai. Il n'y a pas beaucoup d'endroits vides. Parce qu'il y a toujours des trucs qui te téléportent.
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's some...
So, that's what you found? Huh. Seems...
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure.
En vrai, je trouve que pour Sumeru, on a beaucoup été hype, mais finalement, moi en tout cas, c'était pas vraiment à la hauteur de mes attentes. Parce que niveau personnage, en vrai, c'est pas. En vrai, moi, c'est juste les personnages ce qui me gêne à Sumeru.
Is that the truth will bring you no solace.
Wait, me?
Yes.
Parce qu'on était là, le Dendro, mon dieu, ça a été une révolution, tout ça, c'est une révolution, ok. Mais genre, il n'y a que Naïda qui vaut le coup en Dendro. Les autres, soit le gameplay est trop compliqué comme à l'Item, soit ils sont pas assez forts. C'est...
But knowledge always comes at
Ouais,
a price.
je sais pas trop.
And sometimes, as they say, ignorance is bliss. Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but the facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind.
Ouais, c'est vrai, je m'attendais aussi à beaucoup de diversité de couleurs de peau, mais il n'y a rien eu. Tout le monde est blanc. À part Dehya qui est un peu plus bronzé. Enfin, les gens du désert, du coup, qui sont un peu plus bronzés.
I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people and causes that I've chosen to cherish. I came here today to support you as the head of the Homiyani family.
I understand. Then let me tell you a little story.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Our family once needed to take a
C'est que
trip
Naïda,
to
elle
the
est
desert
tellement
when
forte
Dunyazad
que
was just a baby.
bah, les autres Dendro, ils servent plus à rien.
They had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. When all seemed lost, those Eremites were Kusela's brigade. The Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. I was shocked. Why would Dukan Allah? Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyazad. She was startled by his unfamiliar face and nearly started crying.
Really? I never knew.
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took pity on us because he had a daughter about the same age. We started talking about our children, and I sensed that he was a devoted father.
Un bon père,
To repay his
vraiment.
kindness, I hired his brigade to help out at our estate for a time, and offered everyone generous remuneration.
Ouais, c'est vrai, elle s'est fait cracher dessus pour son cara design, oui, parce qu'elle fait pas... Elle fait pas Archon, c'est une enfant. Mais oui, mais en même temps, ça, c'est logique avec son histoire, c'est l'Archon le plus jeune. Donc avec son histoire, tout ça, c'est logique. Après, elle s'est fait cracher dessus à sa sortie, mais après, les gens, ils ont pu rien dire.
So, that's what happened.
Donc,
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door.
je sais plus c'est quel perso qui s'était fait cracher dessus, mais pendant longtemps, très longtemps. Je sais plus. Je sais qu'il y avait un perso qui s'était fait cracher dessus, surtout son gameplay, son cara design, pendant très longtemps. Même après sa sortie.
The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of
Ouais,
himself.
sinon c'était son gameplay,
He
mais
couldn't
encore
even
je trouve que ça
walk
va, oui.
anymore without his
Mais je me rappelle
cane.
qu'il y avait un perso, je sais plus c'était qui s'était fait cracher dessus, mais pendant longtemps.
So, what happened to him?
Non,
He
c'était pas
was
Sumeru.
perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
Je crois que c'est... Je sais plus c'était où, mais c'était pas Sumeru, c'est sûr. C'était... Peut-être pas Inazuma, mais... Peut-être Liu. Liu ou Mondstadt. Je sais plus c'était qui.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change
On va
was his
regarder
cheery
après.
disposition. He said there was absolutely... He then suddenly asked me if Dunyarzad, now that she had grown, would need a bodyguard of her own. At the time, Dunyarzad was going through a particularly severe bout of her Elazar. There was no need, but he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, it never hurts to be safe.
4
How do
étoiles
you
ou
know a
5 étoiles?
bodyguard won't come in handy
Bah,
one
je crois que
day?
c'était un 5 étoiles, hein, je sais plus.
I was completely lost at first.
Peut-être que quand je vais voir le
until
perso,
he recommended the
je vais m'en
blazing
rappeler, mais...
beasts, and in particular, a mercenary named...
So he was the one who
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's relics as an evil group who would eventually corrupt every... He was already beyond redemption, but he hoped that he would be able to detach his daughter from the... If Dehya could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard, then gradually her affinity...
And that's why you offered her such generous compensation?
Yes, but not just because of that. From the moment that he asked me for
Je
that
crois qu'en fait,
favor,
ce
I
perso, il s'est fait
also
cracher dessus
began
pendant
to see
longtemps,
Dehya as my
jusqu'à
own
que les
daughter.
bons persos qui sortent, qui permettent de le jouer à son plein potentiel,
And
ils soient
that's
sortis.
also why I
Je crois que
tried to
c'était
persuade
un truc du
you to
genre.
stay when you asked for permission to leave. I was willing to
Mais tant que
spend
il y avait
however
pas
much
des
it
persos
took.
forts avec lui,
Kusela saved my daughter and I all those years ago in the desert.
enfin
I
avec lui
could
ou
never
elle,
refuse him
sais plus.
entrusting his daughter to me.
He was always like that. Acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dia's fees. I refused to take any more from him,
Yoimiya,
but he'd
peut-être
always sent me
Yoimiya.
funds anyway. Eventually, I just accepted them as a token of his gratitude.
C'est
And that
possible que
went
ce
on
soit
for a
elle.
while until I received another letter. The letter contained a request
Et en
to
vrai,
help
Yoimiya,
him
encore
buy
aujourd'hui, hein, il y a
food,
des gens qui crachent un peu sur elle.
weapons,
Si, je crois
medicine,
que c'était
and
elle.
Wait! Isn't that around the time that the Khan al-Ahmar started becoming more...
That's right. When I started to hear some nasty rumors, I became wary. I wanted, but by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. If I had to guess, that thought occurred to me as well. I figured that he probably came to me for help. After some deliberation, I decided to send him some food and medicine. I turned down
Ouais,
all
c'est
his
vrai. Oui, c'est
requests
ce que je
for
dis.
explosives and
Depuis que
weaponry.
Yunjin est sorti et du coup qu'il a buff, elle se fait moins cracher dessus, mais elle se fait quand même cracher dessus.
I am aware that even such a reduced gesture of support could lead to others coming to harm, but
Et oui, c'est vrai
I
que
could
maintenant
not
que tu me dis, oui,
simply
c'est ça,
reject his
Yoimiya.
plea for help.
Elle a pas très bien été
In the end, it probably was the wrong
accueillie par les
decision.
joueurs.
I plugged my
Alors
ears
que
to the
Neida, elle a
rumors
pas
and
été
just
accueillie,
chose a solution that
mais
made me
finalement, les joueurs
feel least
s'y
guilty
sont faits. Hein.
about myself.
If you can, please tell me where he is now. None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep me from getting tangled up in his world. If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world in the first place.
Oh no. Dehya, please don't feel that way.
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions. Another way? I don't know. I knew him, and he was nothing more than a childish brute. I can't understand what's going through his head.
Ouais, c'est ça. Quand ils ont vu son gameplay et qu'elle était très forte, ils se sont dit « Oh bon, finalement, elle est pas mal, Naïda. Hein. »
But I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need to figure out his exact actions and reasons.
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between the two. I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts. Outside of supplying his brigade with... However, there's a man on the list named Jawed. He used to be a mercenary in the desert and he's responsible for supplying weapons.
Et après, il y a
and
beaucoup
liaising
de
with the
persos genre, qui ont été très bien accueillis dès leur sortie, mais qui ont été complètement oubliés par les joueurs. Genre Ganyu, elle a un peu été oubliée. Elle. Genre, je me rappelle à sa sortie, tout le monde était là, ouah, Ganyu, c'est le meilleur perso, blablabla, blablabla. Et maintenant, plus personne ne joue. Hein. J'en ai entendu parler. Hein.
I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy the cool wind at night outside the tavern.
Understood. Thank you, sir. Then I guess
I'll stay and be with my father here. To be honest, I'm still a little dazed and haven't finished processing everything quite yet. My father has indeed done
Et c'est
something
vrai que son
wrong, but
gameplay,
if I think
mon
about
dieu,
it,
quelle horreur.
I feel like our only course of action is to...
Yes. I am prepared to accept what... It's time to face my mistake.
Le Bédo. Bah, apparemment, Abédo en vrai il buff juste les persos géo. Il sert juste à ça le Bédo, genre dans une team full géo. Lorsque les gens ne jouent pas vraiment hein, une team full géo.
Huh? Who are you guys?
I know what you've been up to. Smuggling weapons to violent brigades in the desert while working for the Corps? Pretty bold, if you ask me.
Shh. Keep your voice down. How do you know all that? Come with me. We should take this elsewhere. This place should do. All right. Back to my question.
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once we report you to the Corps,
Wait. There's no need to jump the gun. Let's talk this out.
So what's in it for you anyway?
Well, I was a little tight on money at the time, and Kusela took good care of me in the past. I weighed it in my mind, and I couldn't find a reason to turn the opportunity down. I wouldn't only be helping my benefactor, but I could also make some quick more,
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Khan al-Akmar, and we're gonna put an end to their operations. If you provide some help for us, then we might just put in a good word later to reduce the terms of your punishment.
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little first? Listen, I made quite a bit of more from my last run. Just give me a...
Shut it. My patience is running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something other than money.
Merci, salut, à bientôt.
All right, sheesh. But you gotta promise you'll put in some nice words for me later. They're always on the move. Here's the spot they were at the last time I made my delivery to the desert. Feel free to go have a look. I'm just telling you though, it's not on me if they're not there anymore.
Sure. And then you can forget about any nice words from us.
Hey, come on. Now you're just being unreasonable.
Really? And how do I know you're not leading us straight into a trap?
All right, I get it, I get it. Why don't you go take a look, and if they're not there anymore?
Now that's more like it. Let's move. And as for you, try to stick around the city until we get back. You don't want us to call the
Allez, c'est parti.
Seems like we're in luck. That should be their camp right up ahead. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves. I'm here to see Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
Dehya, why are you here?
Sweet!
Share my knowledge. Nothing lasts forever. Right now. Right here.
Haven't you all done enough?
Oh, so are you also here to stop us?
Stay out of this. It's got nothing to do with you. She's so strong.
Enough fighting. We all know each other, and I don't want to take things too far. Just bring Kusela to me. There's no use hiding him anymore. Did you understand a single word I just said? Or do I need to bash your
All right, everyone, let's all just calm down first. Dehya, the boss can't come out and see. He died a long time ago.
What?
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while. Guess that's for the best, though. At least...
When did he die? What happened to him?
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakan al-Akhmar and went to the Deshret's Relics headquarters by himself.
So is that when you guys started acting up?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in Deshret's Relics must pay in blood for what they did.
Let me start from the beginning. Dehya, do you know how that...
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. But just those on their own weren't enough. They had another tool at their disposal, regardless of whether they joined by their own will or were coerced. Every person in Deshret's Relics were forced to leave a record of themselves, whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit. The record served both as a symbol of loyalty and the perfect material for blackmail. That's precisely it. Every one of us have a record. Me, Bashar, Tikriti, but you, Dehya. You were never asked to provide a record.
I never even knew this was a requirement.
You were probably the only person in all of Deshret's Relics who didn't know about it.
Ever since you were born, Boss had been trying to shield you from this organization. Not only that, but he also banned all of us from committing any nefarious acts. He said he'd take care of the dues we had to pay regularly to headquarters. But in the end, he was just an ordinary person. What could he do? He was forced to go to headquarters again and again to account for missed dues and incomplete records. He'd come up with all kinds of excuses and get beaten up as a...
We all knew he was doing that for you. He wanted to get you out of this world, no matter what it took.
And that's why he became a shell of himself and couldn't walk without a cane.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. I didn't know about any of this.
Because you were too young at the time. How would you ever tell between wounds from a beating and wounds from battle? When you left home after that final argument with him, he seemed to age by a decade overnight. Even his hair went gray.
So, even the blazing beasts were...
Yep. It was all his doing. Had he not arranged them to come to you, you probably would...
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make another trip to headquarters. He was already pretty weak then, and we all assumed he was going to get beaten again. I suggested that he hand the role of leadership over to me, but he said there was no longer any need. Since the Khan al... His words made no sense to me. But that night, we heard that a massive fire tore through headquarters and razed everyone's records to ash.
Everyone gained their freedom that night. Many members fled, not just from our ranks, but from the other brigades as well. But how could we leave with a clear conscience? All of us who knew exactly what had happened.
The boss can't have just died for nothing. Those heartless jerks at headquarters took him from us.
From that point on, the sole purpose of Dakan al-Ahmar became revenge. The big fire that boss started was quite a blow to headquarters' strength. It's given us the opportunity to launch our... Even though we're outnumbered, we vowed to see our revenge through to the very end. There were people from headquarters who changed their names and went into hiding. Some fled to other brigades, and others escaped to the rainforest. But we won't let any of them escape our wrath. They'll all pay for what they've done.
We've suffered plenty of losses as well. To keep going, we need an enormous amount of... All we can do is exchange our loot from Mora, and then use that to get supplies. We forged Boss's handwriting and sent out many letters to his former friends. Thankfully, many people were willing to... We were also able to attract many mercenaries who shared our goal. We've endured unspeakable pain to... Deshret's relics have become weaker and weaker, and now we finally have an opportunity to directly
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners from the very beginning. We do not deserve the freedom that the boss won for us. The boss always loved his old-fashioned hero
C'est quand même
stories.
triste dans son histoire.
Those tales about sacrificing yourself to save the world. We used to always laugh at him for it. But in the end, he really... As for me, I never considered myself a hero. We're all the lowest of the low, but... maybe those hero stories he liked foreshadowed everything that was to come. The spirit of the
Mais
hero
du coup, ils sont
touched
pas
all
tout
those he had
noirs non
saved.
plus. Ils sont pas tout
And
blancs, mais ils
more
sont
and
pas non
more
plus tout
people
noirs.
joined his cause. Maybe we were all just acting along with the play in the beginning. But as we acted the parts and recited the lines, I'm sorry,
Par contre, il
Dehya.
parle un peu trop.
I know you always found us insufferable ever since you were young. Just...
I'll go with you.
Huh? Dehya? You wanna go with them?
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just that some situations, all I know is that Deshret's relics must be destroyed. Furthermore, I want to go see the place for myself. I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
Yeah. Paimon feels like we'd only regret it if we don't see this through.
Thank you.
I bet Boss would lose his mind if he ever knew you'd join us at the very...
Considering all the losses and injuries we sustained, we can't afford to turn down someone as powerful as you.
He can think whatever he wants. But the fact is...
Ok, première partie terminée.
sure didn't run into much trouble on the way here.
Ah, les donjons. Est-ce que ça va déjà être ici qu'on va voir la cinématique de fin?
Wow. Paimon didn't expect it to look like this.
They should all be holed up in here. Don't know how many people they've got.
Who cares? We'll round up all of them.
Still, we should be careful. Even if they've only got one shot left, it could still take us out.
Yeah, we'll know what they're really capable of once we've... Deshret's relics may have been a force to be reckoned with before, but their name means nothing now.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance with you here.
Happy to oblige. Let's
You
get it
are
on.
not welcome here.
Emerge. Right here, right now.
Mind the deluge.
I see everything.
Gloves off.
I need
Committed to Nemeth right here. Emerge.
tricks up your sleeve.
Grow.
This way, follow me. We're almost there.
Wait! They went charging ahead without checking for any traps!
Hey, you guys okay?
It seems like we just got trapped in here. Don't think we triggered anything else.
Watch out, the enemy's coming from ahead.
Well, now that things have come to this,
Don't worry about us. We knew something like this could happen. Go and take a look around. Let's go! We can't let the boss step.
Let's check if there's another way! The sooner we can make it through the house.
Let's see. I think I see a way through over there, but it's being blocked by something.
Okay, let's go!
D'accord, ouais, bon, c'est assez simple. Alors, je trouve que les énigmes sous héros, elles sont pas trop. Elles sont pas chiantes. Comparé à Inazuma. Inazuma, c'est les pires énigmes, je trouve. Je meurs. Après, je trouve que les énigmes à Sumero, elles sont simples, hein, comparé à Inazuma.
Another mechanism like the one before, but this one's being blocked off in the middle.
Ok.
We just need to adjust it a little.
Ok, d'accord. Toi, tu vas descendre. Ok, c'est tout. Rien d'autre. Ok, c'est parti.
Hey! Right here. Emerge.
The depths beckon.
You asked for it.
En vrai, Dehya, je la trouve. Elle est pas forte. C'est pas la plus forte, mais c'est pas la plus nulle non plus. Franchement, là, elle s'en sort bien, je trouve.
Cascade.
You're dead meat!
Hey!
Ok. Alors. Alors, ça c'est fait. Ouais, du coup, il faut changer la couleur ici. Ok.
I wasn't expecting anyone to make it through from the but as a desert dweller, I suppose we should be used to our folk.
Don't waste your breath. You have nowhere to run.
Run. Had I wanted to run, I would have fled 1,000 I witnessed the golden age of Deshret's relics. Even if I could leave this place behind, all that awaits me now, even now, my brothers and I still believe in one. The greatest should never live to remember their fall.
So you want to go out in a blaze of glory?
Let us draw our weapons! We will show them that they are but two. Well, we won! Charge! Eliminate them!
On est peut-être plus fort que vous.
Right now.
Mind the deluge.
Make yourself a move! I'm always watching. Emerge. Right here. Right now.
Let's get it on!
Don't think that you've won. We're just getting started.
You asked for it.
Will meet again. King Deshret will not abandon any one of his followers.
Emerge.
Buckle up!
Now you're testing my patience.
You're dead meat!
Brothers! This is where we prove our faith.
Do you all just want to die?
None of us plan to leave this place alive!
Behold. Right now. Right here. Emerge.
Your sacrifice is ready.
Look alive! But will we again? The commander has finally fallen.
But they're still coming at us! This place is like a gladiator's ring. They just keep coming no matter how many we beat!
Yes, keep fighting! There's no need to fear, and no need to back.
When the next wave comes, try to draw away their attacks. I'm going to see if I can take out that high platform.
Get out of my way!
Come and face me, Michel! Ugh, so they've broken through the front.
Apologies, Lord Michal. They fight like absolute madmen.
So,
Time to pay for everything you've done, Michel.
you think I would give you that up? I will be buried in the sand, alongside all the rest of our fate.
Hey, wait!
We were too late.
It's over. There's no more need to fight. But if you're still going to cling on to your so-called mercenary's pride, then I'll give you...
Hey, Dehya! I found the mechanism. I'll get you all back up here right away.
Ok,
Let's go.
let's go.
Who are you filthy rats? And why are you always pestering us?
You call yourself a member of the infamous Deshret's relics, and you still can't even tell who's made it all the way to...
Who knows what intent a bunch of rats may have? We try to catch a couple, and you all just show up on the other side. Hey, have you ever heard of a man by the name of Kusela? Why would I know? It's not like I'm in charge or anything.
This is your last chance to talk.
Hey, I said I don't know anything. I'm just an average member here. I'm telling the truth. If you're here to find someone, why don't you look through the records yourselves? Who can remember every name and face with so many people coming in and out every day?
The irony. His life became a light for so many, yet to others, it wasn't even worth remembering. Where's the records room? Answer me!
It's right over there. All the files are in there. You can go through them as much as you want. It's not like...
I mean the old records room.
The old records room? You mean, the one that got burned down? Kusela. Ah, yeah, I remember him now. Watch your mouth. That's our boss you're talking about. He was definitely faking it. We all let our guard down as soon as we saw him come hobbling in. But in the short time it supposedly took him to take a dump, he'd already gotten away and started a fire in the records room. He couldn't have possibly outrun us if he wasn't a fraud. And after that, Deshret's relics fell into complete disarray.
Stop wasting our time. Every one of us here is perfectly aware of what he had done. Tell me, where is the old...
It's just over there. Go see it for yourself if it means that. There's nothing left in there but ashes. No human could ever survive that. Bashar, Tikriti, let's go. We'll leave the others here to guard these guys. Spare them no mercy if they try.
D'accord. Et ben, on va voir cette salle.
So, this was his final destination. How did he do it? Getting past all the guards with a limp and sneaking in here. If he was nimble enough to do that, then he must have been able to get out of here after starting the fire.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know it's just wishful thinking.
Is this a cane?
Kusela.
Thanks for everything, boss.
We're fortunate to somehow find that cane after that fire.
Let's split up and look around some more. What if something else has been left behind?
But what else could survive a fire like that?
Huh? Thought so.
Wait! Isn't that the toy sword you played with as a child?
The dragon is no more. for Princess Dehya has slain it. Its head now hangs above the city gates. Her bravery has brought eternal peace and prosperity to us all. Dehya, come on. This is the most important line.
You can do it.
But Dehya, you defeated the dragon. Everyone's waiting for your speech. Still too shy, huh? All right, I'll do it. I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more.
I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more, Dad.
Ben dis donc. J'ai pas eu le temps de lire.
What's this?
Don't you remember? You asked Paimon what she would do if she were to wake up tomorrow with loads of money. And Paimon said that she would get boatloads of tasty snacks. You looked super confused at the time, but said it was an adorable thing to say. These opportunities don't come by often. So today, Paimon's gonna treat you to a special crash course. Hey, this way you get something from the both of us for the price of one. Anyway, the point is that you should eat here. Junior Azad will also be here shortly. She's already heard that we're back.
Aw, thanks you two. Honestly, this is very unlike me. My chest was filled with all kinds of intense emotions. They just shook me even more than all the feelings we've shared, but when everything came to an end, those emotions also vanished without a trace. It was as if I'd lost the thing that was most important to me. Yeah, you're right. To many mercenaries, Mora is the most important thing in the world. But perhaps to us, Idrisi and the others all used to say that they would quit if there was no Mora to be had. But when it came to avenging my father, there was no Mora to be made anywhere. My reality shattered when I found out that the father who always told me hero stories was in fact a bad guy. But look at me now. Am I any different? Despite all my promises about never forgiving him and never trying to understand him, I still went to such lengths to find out the truth, and nearly even shed. We're hypocrites. All of us. Yeah, you're right. It's just a pity that we often only recognize our true feelings.
You're back! Are all of you alright?
Ah, there she is.
Yeah. Many people from the Corps of 30 came over, and I just wrapped up everything with my dad. All I can do now is... Huh? Dehya?
Paimon will explain. A lot happened.
I'm sorry. I really should have controlled my emotions better.
It's all right, my lady. You were hurt by all of this as well. Truth be told, I'm starting to feel...
Dehya, your pain must be even worse. You shouldn't...
Hey, don't worry about me. If anything, this whole thing has finally shown me the difference between... My father probably thought that people could settle into new lives as long as they moved to a new environment. That thought has even crossed my mind a few times. It's like saying, what's wrong with adapting to a new life? However, there was always something deep within my mind that refused to accept it. This impulse brought me great turmoil, but now that I consider it again, it all makes sense. The desert sands are a part of who I am. And
I understand how you feel.
That doesn't mean I won't be making any changes to my life, though. As an example, I'm now thinking about taking on some small odd jobs. It's just like Idrisi said. I also want to catch up to my father and become a character in his play. Even if the ending of the story may be childish and ridiculous, it won't really matter.
Isn't that neat, though? Oh, you'll be a whole new kind of mercenary, one that's not... Why don't we go for a change of scenery once we finish eating? What about stopping by the Grand Bazaar again?
Right. You said you wanted to get a rug for...
We'll come along too.
I can't thank you enough for taking...
Allez, allons chercher un tapis. Donc là, on est déjà à la fin. En vrai, c'était rapide.
Oh, this rug here is quite something. The craftsmanship is exquisite. And the...
Ah, here you are. Finally, I found you.
Hey! Aren't you that mercenary who bit his tongue? Wait, are you here to take revenge?
What are you talking about? Do I look like I can take you all in a fight? I just came here to give you... Once I woke up, I hurried to the Khan al-Ahmar's camp, hoping to... But when I got there, I found no one except the members who were still too injured to move.
Ah, so you probably got there after.
Yeah, they told me that they had exacted their revenge, and everyone had turned themselves in to the authorities. Even that last camp was not... I had joined the cause to repay an old favor from Kusela. Now that everyone's already turned themselves in, one of the injured members gave this box to me, and told me that it contained some of the old man's last possessions. Everything left in the camp will get confiscated, so I figured I should get this to you before...
Thank you.
No worries. We are all just living our own truths. There's no need to comment or judge.
So this box contains everything that Dehya's father left.
Well, back in the day, the first thing he did with any Mora was... But let's see what's inside. What's this? It's just a bunch of junk.
Perhaps it's just been left unopened for too long.
A handwritten copy of a storybook. The paper's already yellowed, and it looks like it's about to fall apart. It was against the Academia's rules to possess books for personal use. If he was going to break that rule, he could have at least copied something useful.
That probably means this was really important to him.
Ah, and here are a few bags of children's snacks. The packaging's completely deteriorated.
Did he get those for you?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Even when I was a child, I was never a fan of these kinds of snacks. He'd always say that he got them for me, but in the end, who even leaves snacks in a box like this anyway? Isn't that just common sense? Forget it. Let me see what else is in here. A razor, some buttons, some round iron tiles, a wooden toy puppet, a wool scarf, which, from the looks of it, probably belonged to a woman, and a hair...
I'm suddenly feeling a little...
I'm sorry, my lady, but this is just the kind of man he was. He probably saw this box as some kind of 2 empty liquor bottles. Tell me, you guys, are these the kinds of things that a normal
Huh? There's something in the bottle!
Oh, you're right. All right, I got it out. It seems to be a piece of paper with some writing on it. The bottom part's all damaged from moisture, though. Let's hope the writing didn't smudge. I was suddenly seized with an urge to write a letter after finishing this bottle. I just folded it up and left it in the bottle, though. To Dehya. It's a letter for me? It's all right. I'll just read it out. If he went to the trouble of writing a letter, there must have been some important things that he wanted to say. Or at least...
My condition's becoming worse and worse. Can't even walk without a cane anymore, much less go out and have fun. Guess I don't have many days left. If you're reading this letter, then I suppose I'm already long gone. You were adorable as a baby. Everyone loved you. And regardless of whether you were crying or... But once you grew a bit older, you were no longer nearly as happy or cute. It's probably Idrisi's fault.
Can you believe this guy? He can point the finger at himself.
Anyway, back to the point. To summarize, I'm writing this so you would know not to feel sad for me, even if you end up finding the reason being that...
Wait, what?
Surely, he must be joking, right?
I don't know.
I
Je
was
m'attendais pas
quite
à ça.
formidable when I was young, and 100 times cooler than some so-called flame. It really felt like the whole world was under my feet. With just a teeny tiny bit of effort, I felt I could rule over the entire desert. But as fate would have it, I went out into the desert for a drink one day, and you were just lying there, small and helpless. You were so tiny that if the wind blew, but your cries were so loud they made my head hurt. Now that I think of it,
Sounds like he's serious.
I told Idrisi and the others that I had slipped up with a woman while out and about. None of them even doubted me. I'm sorry that I had to lie to them for so long, but I really had no other choice. I was their most esteemed leader, after all. It's not like I could just tell them that I suddenly want... this... Anyway, you possess the kind of freedom and kindness that we could only dream of. As far as how you should live your life, that'll be up to you to decide.
That's
D'accord.
the end of the letter. In the end, he was still thinking of me as a little child, I suppose, or I would have suffocated under the sand.
He was a good father to you. The fact that he wasn't a blood relative.
Yeah. It's just a pity that we had to learn the truth.
Do you already have some ideas about the decision?
I do. If he first found me alone in the sands, then I just have one wish. That there once existed a childish and foolish jerk with a heart of gold. And that only under his care was I able to grow and mature into the person I am.
If you end up finding any leads, can you share them with us? We go on adventures all the time. Maybe we'll be...
Sure, I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting you to be so
I'll help too.
Thank you. My life has certainly had its twists and turns, but because no matter where I've gone, I've always been surrounded by...
Ok, et bien c'était sympa. Très sympa cette quête de personnages. On en a appris beaucoup, je trouve. Sur Dehya et tout. On n'est pas encore à 160. Écoute, c'est pas grave. Hop. C'est parti.
Let it be known that divinity is mine!
There is no escape.
Churn!
Going in!
Clouds high. The birds...
Now you shall perish!
Insignificant pest!
Let's light it up! Teamwork is tricky! Torn to oblivion! Shine down!
Into the wind. My endless cycle begins! Feeble human! One with wind and cloud!
Everybody stand and eat this! Now you shall perish!
Ok.
I am the all-knowing God! to oblivion! Kneel! Reality is pain! Burn to oblivion!
Let's light it up!
Kneel! Good riddance, cruel world.
Shine down!
One with nature.
Let's light it up!
Not possible.
Teamwork is strict!
Clouds high. The bird.
You're toast!
Torn to oblivion!
There is no escape!
Wind strider.
Shine down!
Wind strider. I can't lose it all again.
Hop, du coup, je vais battre les boss, utiliser mes résines.
You're trembling. Is it the cold or just cowardice? There is no escape.
As one with wind and cloud.
Going in! Inazuma shines eternal! Into the frozen void! Shine down!
Wind strider.
Nice and spicy! Let's light it up!
The Tsaritsa's benevolence has no place for transgressors!
Illusion shattered!
Aïe. Mais stop. Mais insupportable à ce moment.
There is no escape!
Wind strider.
Yeah!
Clouds high. The bird.
Teamwork is tricky! Now you shall perish!
wound will heal.
Everybody stand!
Fallen leaves. Adorn.
Inazuma shines eternal! There is no escape!
All must burn!
Aïe.
Off we go!
Who dares?
Illusion shattered!
A witch!
I'm going in!
Torn to oblivion!
Shine down!
Clouds high.
Yeah! Let's light it up!
Remove all obstacles. I never asked for redemption. Never.
Illusion shattered! There is no escape! Let's light it up! Illusion shattered!
Wind strider.
Everybody stand! Inazuma shines eternal!
Ah, on l'a pas tué.
Let's light it up! Let's light it up! Shine down!
As one with wind and cloud.
Teamwork is strength.
You're toast!
Torn to oblivion. There is no escape.
Wind strike.
Let's light it up.
Voilà, j'ai terminé. Voilà. Bah voilà. Du coup, je vais arrêter le live ici. Donc, je n'ai plus de quête de perso en retard. Maintenant, j'ai juste une escapade, l'escapade de Farouzan en retard. Et cette fameuse zone là derrière moi où je n'ai pas fini la quête, qui est bientôt finie, je pense, mais bon, faut que je la finisse quand même. Voilà, je n'ai pas fini la quête du désert derrière moi. Bon, la quête du désert, la quête de monde, tout ça, je pense... je pense la terminer de mon côté, voilà, tout simplement. Et puis la filmer et la poster sur YouTube. Ça va rattraper mon retard, un peu. Et ensuite, quand la mise à jour sortira mercredi prochain, donc on fera la nouvelle zone. On fera pas une de quête perso, rien du tout, on fera la nouvelle zone. Voilà, on découvrira la mise à jour, on fera la nouvelle zone, on testera les nouveaux personnages. Voilà. Donc j'espère que ce live vous a plu. On se retrouve pour le prochain live. Donc normalement c'est samedi pour Chia. Et normalement, de ce que j'ai compris, ça serait peut-être la fin de Chia samedi. Voilà. Samedi on finit peut-être Chia déjà, oui, ça a été très rapide. Voilà, donc merci d'être passé. Et puis je vous dis soit samedi pour Chia, soit mercredi prochain pour un prochain live sur Genshin Impact. Voilà, pour la mise à jour Genshin. Voilà. Ah et aussi... comme lundi c'est lundi de Pâques, je sais pas si je ferai un live, voilà. Peut-être, donc si je fais un live lundi, on fera la quête de Farouzan, l'escapade de Farouzan, mais c'est pas sûr, voilà, ça je ne vous promets rien, voilà. Bon allez, salut Océane.
The world remains